I've always, since I remember, have been ambitious and wanted to be in these leadership roles and wanted to take charge. Right when I joined the fraternity, I had the mind going into it that I'm going to be the president one day. The only person I really trusted was myself, so I decided to take charge in something that I knew was important to me and that I wanted to do.
All right. Hey, Nolan, welcome to the show. Happy to have you here. So you're a junior in college. You're in
Yes.
all these leadership roles. You're the president of your fraternity. Maybe talk to me what made you want to be the president of your fraternity? Like, what made you want to take these leadership roles? You obviously have some big goals.
Yeah, I mean, I've always, since I remember, have been ambitious and wanted to be in these leadership roles and wanted to take charge. Right when I joined the fraternity, I had the mind going into it that I'm going to be the president one day. And
Nice.
then when I was a pledge, we had to go through and interview a bunch of people that had chair roles. And I talked to the current president at that time. I'm like, "What's your favorite part about being the president?" And he goes, "Absolutely nothing. Don't do it. This is horrible." So right then and there, it kind of went out of my mind, and then out like that. And then this past parents' weekend, my dad was up and I had a conversation with him about it, and that kind of just got me to start thinking I care a lot about this. I don't know who else I really trust to fill this role and to lead the people that I love and the thing that I love, and has given me so many opportunities and a lot of fun in college. So the only person I really trusted was myself. So I decided to, grow a pair almost and just take charge in something that I knew was important to me and that I wanted to do. So
Just got to dive in. I mean, for
yeah,
me, the networking side has just done so much for my life. It's an amazing opportunity to network and get to know people. You were saying you get into the event space as well, or your girlfriend does, helps with some of these events and putting
yes,
events on, and
mhm,
you're always hosting things. I think a lot of people discount how much value comes from that rather than actually in the classroom.
yeah, I completely agree. I think that a lot of there was a Charlie Kirk, one of the conservative guys, came to our campus the other day,
Yeah.
and I agree with him on a lot of things, but the one thing that he says is college is a scam, and I don't really agree with that because I feel like it's what you really take from it. I feel like yes, a lot of the classroom stuff is very mundane, and I don't get a lot from it, but the experiences and the lessons that I've learned and the people that I've met outside of the classroom and the opportunities I've gained, even being here right now from just being in college and being in a fraternity and just opening gateways to do things that I want to do, that's invaluable. That's something that I would not have been able to get if I didn't go to college with a lot of these experiences. So it's been very valuable experience to me.
Love it. There's an old man that once told me, "Be where you are now." I'm like, what the hell do you mean by that? But just be where you are. So if you chose to go to college, then be where you are and go make something of that and go lead the clubs, the entrepreneur club. Go if you want to be in business. Go get involved, get active. It's who you know, it's what experience you have, and you could have a phenomenal, experience there. I would agree in the sense that there's probably not as much merit in the actual physical classes as maybe there used to be,
Yeah.
because just information is so readily available. I know, we talked AI a little bit
Yeah.
off camera, just with the advent of AI and the information age. But yeah, be where you are. If I didn't go to college, I went for 4 months. I did join a fraternity. I didn't tell you that.
All right. Nice.
The college thing wasn't for me. I needed to get married. I was like, hey, I didn't need to, but I wanted to. And I was like, hey, I want to get married. I want to have a family. I don't want to do it right now. I'm very impatient. So I went a little bit different route. But it's like, hey, if you're going to do that, be where you are and go
100%.
make what you can out of what you have. So love that. So what's next for you? Where do you want to take all this? You're in college now. You have a year left. You're in all these leadership things. What do you want to do with your life?
What's next for me is hopefully finding a good job. I'm in a finance major right now, so I want to try to go into the finance space and try to make a little money off that right away so I can start building a little portfolio with real estate. I mean, obviously being in fraternity helps me with hookups of guys that want to rent always.
Yeah,
So
nice.
it'd be nice to get a small little loan and get a nice-ish house, get the fraternity guys to move in there, pay my mortgage, give me a little extra cash on top, and start building my portfolio from there. And then honestly, I'm type of guy where I want to do my job for as long as I can until I can't anymore. And then I need to take a risk, take a jump, and then fill a space that I feel like needs to be filled. So
Mm.
then hopefully end up owning a few homes and have my own company.
I love that. I like the idea of like getting creative with your finances. When it comes to like, hey, I'm gonna buy this house, have other people rent it. That's a hack.
Yeah.
Like those kinds of things. I had a mentor one time that he had this very large house, and I believe it was around $7 or $8 million for this house. And I was saying, like, how much is that? Because he's like, well, you could just buy it outright if you have the cash. He's a big entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Or you could finance it and you could use it for different things. And I said, well, what makes you want to own a house that's like half of your net worth?
Yeah.
And he goes, well, look, most people look at it, and I'm not sure if he's right all the time, but this was interesting on the house thing. He said most people look at a house and they think it's, just an expense, right? They just look at it. A lot of rich people look at things, houses, cars, whatever. And they look at it and they say, how much can this make me rather than how much does this cost me? And I always think about that. Like, we just bought a jet. My net worth is probably not high enough to technically have a jet. They say you should be 100 million plus or about half of that, whatever. And it's like, okay, but how do you make that make you money rather than cost you a bunch of money?
Mm-hmm.
And I think with the house, that's a very good way to get into it. So you get into that, and then you could do the next one. And you have 2, 3, 4, properties by the time you're done with this.
Yeah,
So
we actually had an assignment in business class the other day, and we all have our groups. It's probably like about 8 groups in the class, and it's your grandma or something died, and you inherited this money. Like, are you going to buy a house, or are you not? Look in Tucson. What kind of houses are you buying? What kind of money are you putting down? And people are getting like these like small like single family homes because it was like $150,000 something we got like middle of the desert and everything. And then my picture comes up and it's this 5-person house with like a pool and like all this stuff. And they're like, you're not going to be able to afford this. I'm like, well, it's near the University of Arizona. I'm putting $100,000 down, getting this rate. I'm not even gonna like only be able to afford it. I'm making $500 a month off of it. So it's like
nice. With the same idea, like putting some people in the different rooms and renting it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Just getting like creative.
Yeah.
One thing I've learned, so we've coached a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people in the insurance business that are making $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year. They want to go to 7 figures. They want to go to 8 figures. And what I always think is interesting is I don't run numbers with people very often because I feel like that's just kind of like a given.
Yeah.
Like, I just grew up with a calculator in my hand. My wife jokes about it all the time. She's like, oh, what are you, running the numbers? I think she bought me a shirt one time that said, like, running the numbers or something like that because my dad does it, my brother does it, I do it. I just grew up that way, like, just constantly doing napkin math. It's like, oh, if I want to do this, okay, I could do this. Oh, that divided by that equals that. Okay, this rate, okay, this. And I realized that I should be teaching that more. Because a lot of people don't go through that. I like how you're getting creative with the, with the math. And it's like, hey, I could do what everybody else did. Or you could take a risk. It is a lot riskier.
Oh,
I'm going to put this money down. I'm going to do this. But that's how you actually make something.
Yeah.
That's how you actually make a go of your life. And sometimes it fails.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's you have to climb your way out of it. I bought a restaurant and it didn't go well and we shut that down. And I've been through, several things that didn't go well. So I'm curious, like, so you do that. You want to you said you have a girlfriend. You at some point in your life you want to have a family, get married, do the whole thing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What does that look like? Like, what does your future look like? Do you want to be home a lot? Do you want to be on the road? What does your ideal family life look like?
My ideal family life is to be home a lot and have a nice home office that I can work out of, make a lot of phone calls and everything in there. It's like, I'll be working a lot, ideally, to try to build wealth for myself. But no matter what, I'll still be within reach of my family. Either I have an office just down the street and they can reach me at any time if I need to. Or if I was like my dad growing up he's always working, but he has a home office. If I needed him for anything, I'm going in there and he's pausing his phone call. So ideally we're doing that, and ideally eventually down in like Southern California somewhere, because that's where my family is right now. And
nice.
my future family will mean a lot to me, and my family now means a lot to me. So I kind of want to be near them. And I don't know what my mom would do if I had grandchildren and they weren't down the street. So
yeah, it's nice to be close. So we have 4, right?
Yeah.
4 kids, and it's nice to be as close to family as possible. Something that's really helped me on the work-life balance thing, and we just wrote a book. It's being released soon called The True Freedom Equation. My theory on this is to have true freedom, you need both money and time.
Yeah.
Right? And there's kind of a seesaw to get there, right? You have more money and less time, and then vice versa at some point. And it's like, or it's the reverse of that. But it's like, you need both. If you have all the money in the world and you can afford a $25,000 vacation to Hawaii, but then you're sitting at the pool all day on your phone while your kids are swimming.
Yeah.
Is that really freedom?
Yeah.
You know, you're just kind of like a slave in a different location. Same as, the opposite. If you're at home all the time and you're with your kids 24/7 and somehow you just barely have enough to pay the bills, that's not true freedom either.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like you're restricted by money.
Hmm.
And what I used to think is like, I obviously a Christian, and I used to think like money in a sense was almost bad. I don't even know where I got that. Certainly not from my parents, but like almost how like money like will like enslave you a little bit. Like, and what I found is people that love money and they pursue money with everything that they've got, they're a slave to money. But people that don't have enough money, they're also a slave to money.
Yeah.
So the people that somehow figure out how to make an abundance of money yet not love it and hold on to it with everything they've got, somehow those are the only people that are free.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have enough of it, or if you only care about money, both sides of that equation are bad. So anyway, not to go on and on, but for me, like on the work-life balance side, it's been very helpful that my wife and I decided, hey, I can get up as early as I want in the morning and work, but our family, our decision, husband and wife for our family is I will not be home later than 5:30.
Yeah.
And there was times where I wanted to push that envelope, man. Like, it's like everybody else is working till 10 p.m. and it's like the hustle culture and grind it out. But it's like, no, like I had to force myself to get more done in less time. And that actually helped me progress faster. And you think like, how is that possible? Because I had to start hiring people probably before I should have.
Yeah.
Because like I was like, oh, everyone else can do this. And my wife's like, well, good thing I didn't marry everyone else. You have to figure out how to do more in less time so you're still home with us and the kids. And it wasn't her telling me, it was her reminding me of the commitment we made together. So that's one thing that I tell everybody that I know that's getting like close to that phase of life is like if you do one thing on the work-life balance side and nothing else, I don't care if you get up at 2 in the morning and start working, it's when am I going to be home with no distractions, even if it's only for 2 hours an evening. I don't care. Whatever you and your spouse decide on, and then honor that, because that's what the kids remember.
Hmm.
It's like dad was there for me in those moments. Anyway, you didn't ask for it, but I will give you my opinion on that.
Yeah. No, I think that's definitely important. I mean, obviously, it's important being ambitious and wanting to have success in life, but you just also can't let greed overcome you. And I think that's the biggest thing once you get to that level. There's always more, no matter how big you are. So just recognizing that what you really want and what you need to prioritize rather than just more and more and more is really important.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, it's like what's it all worth if you're sitting there alone? People say, well, just hustle for the next 5, 10 years, and then eventually, you'll have enough money, and then you can kind of spend all your time with your family.
Yeah.
But the problem with that line of thinking is your family, if you're never with them for 5 years, they learn how to live without you for 5 years, and you have all these problems that develop over that time period. And then when you do have the ability to stay home, nobody wants you to.
Yeah.
And that when somebody told me that one time, and I was just like, "Oh, damn." Like that's a good point. So like that doesn't solve anything. Just to put your nose down and don't think of anything about work other than work until, 10 years from now. That's not a good recipe. So I'm on a mission to help people, and myself too, like really set those boundaries. You can have both. It just like a very intentional person.
Yeah.
Like not many people are willing to wake up at 4 a.m.
Hmm.
Because they want to be home with their kids at night. Some do.
Yeah.
So, okay, I know we talked a lot off camera, but really looking at the things Gen Z, like the younger generation, people in their 20s right now, people in college, that you're seeing. What are some of the struggles that you're seeing out there? That just like, hey, it's just like all of us are going through this.
Yeah. I mean, the obvious one is our phones and social media. But a lot of it's like as I'm developing like into college, like people like starting like their actual lives now. It's not necessarily like the factors that people like always think of when it comes to social media. It's a lot that there's just too much in your face. There's too much noise. And it's led to a lot of people, I feel like, not necessarily wanting to figure out what they want to do with their lives right now. They see all these super successful people online doing a lot of different things. Like, oh, I want to do this. Oh, this guy looks successful. This guy does this, that, this. And then
Yeah.
it's just, it leaves a lot of people, not, I wouldn't even necessarily being lazy, but kind of being scared to like sit down and be like, what am I doing? Like, what do I want to do with my life? Where do I want to take this? Who do I want to meet? And it's a lot of noise. I mean, I even fall victim to it too. Like I said earlier, like I still want to be doing like 8 things at once because I
Yeah.
see it online. I want to have my job during the day, but then it's like, oh, but then I also have to have these 5 properties I'm gonna manage when I get home. And then also I need to check the stock market because these guys are day trading and making a lot of money. Oh, what's crypto doing? I saw this new NFT or whatever on this guy. This guy just made 100,000 doing this. Why am I not doing this? And there's 8 things in your brain at once, and there's only 24 hours in a day. And
Mm.
like you said with the children, like being back, I don't want to get back at 5:30 after working all day and then worry about 6 other factors on how I should make money. It's
Yeah, I think it's fascinating when you say that. It's like every person out there has a different way to make money, and you're seeing it. Some of them are scams, and some of them are legit.
mhm.
Let's say all of them are real, and let's say none of them were scammy things. They're all actually real things. Sometimes too much of a good thing is still too much.
Yeah,
You know,
100%.
and it's like there's so much opportunity. There's 15 doors I could open and walk through. So I'm just gonna stand on this side. I'm gonna look at this wall of doors, and I'm paralyzed. I don't know which door to open.
Yeah,
Some of those doors are going to have a shorter hallway to the destination. Some of those doors are going to have a much longer hallway, and you don't always know ahead of time. The one way to for sure lose is to not open any door
yeah,
and walk through it.
definitely.
And you're right, it's so hard in today's day and age.
Yeah,
For any age, myself included. It's just like focus is one of my natural strong suits. I got plenty of weaknesses. But focus is one of my natural strong suits. Looking at, okay, if there's 15 projects going on all at the same time, then you'll do like 20% of one project, 30% of the next project, but get like nothing actually done.
yeah. Yeah, I feel like success is definitely being 100% into whatever you're doing. You can't be 50-50 on this and 50-50 on that because then neither of them are really going to be successful. You need to like completely dive into whatever you're doing. If there's other things on the side that you can still be fully committed to this, but then do on the side, that's fine. But if you really want to be successful at one thing, you need to be 100% in.
Yeah, and that's something we talk about with our coaching clients all the time because it's a framework I have to convince myself to do all the time for me. Like I'm not perfect at all this stuff. But it's like, okay, if I have 10 projects, I'll do 20% of one project and hit a roadblock and then skip to project number 7 just subconsciously, and I'll do this project until I get about halfway through, big roadblock, so I'll just accidentally go to project number 4,
Yeah.
and you do all these different things 20, 30, 40, 50% the way done, and nothing gets done. The better way is to make a list. I call it the order of magnitude list, and I say project number 1 is the most important, and then 2, then 3, and I list it all out, and then I 100% focus only on the first project until it's done, check that off the list, and then go to number 2.
Yeah.
And that builds momentum because you actually start seeing results. You're like, hey, the dominoes start to fall into place. So I think that's a very interesting thing that we're all struggling with. With the amount of information coming from social media. Do you feel like a lot of people like compare themselves pretty frequently because we're seeing so many other people at different stages?
Oh, yes, 100%. Especially with all these people having all this money, especially at a young age. It's like, what am I doing? Why am I not hustling like this guy? This guy's 18 years old. He has $1 million in the bank. But then you also like, it's all the face value on the internet. You don't really
Yeah.
know what's going on. Like I'm from a pretty good area down in Southern California with a lot of like rich kids. And then I see something, it's like, wow, like my buddy literally just made $180,000 this year and he's 19 years old. But then what you got to realize is that his dad is worth $150 million and he backed him with like $2 million on this project.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't put myself to that standard. I don't have
Right.
that backing like that. So it's like just seeing everything for face value makes it seem like, why am I not doing this? But then once you actually know where it's coming from and the face value, or even if it's real or not, like there's a lot of fake stuff online. It's like people
Right.
driving rented cars or their dad's cars and passing it off as theirs.
Yeah.
So it's like just seeing the face value is it causes a lot of harm with comparisons for sure.
I think it does, right? And this is not new. It used to be you gotta keep up with the Joneses down the street, but now the Joneses down the street is every human on the planet that has an iPhone.
Yeah.
That can post whatever they want on the internet. Sometimes I think the noise just got turned off. And a good reminder for myself is like the more you consume, it's like it puts you in this reactive state. I like what you said earlier, something to the effect of like, okay, people are just almost like kind of paralyzed. Like they see so much information that's kind of like, I don't really know what to do with my life because there's so many options.
Yeah.
It's almost like a drug. Don't mean to be a little dramatic here,
Yeah.
but think about if you sat around and smoked weed all day.
Yeah.
Let's say you sat around and smoked weed all day, or you drank alcohol all day, every day. it's really easy to not go anywhere in life because you're distracted.
100%.
I think the phone's kind of similar.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, even if it's good stuff, I'm just sitting here. TV's the same way. It's just you can't pack it around with you, so it's less addictive.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm just looking at the next thing,
Yeah.
and that anxiety kind of keeps you, stuck. So for us, like massive action. Like, how can I go from idea to action as fast as humanly possible? Because otherwise, I'll get distracted, and my motivation for that wanes.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna do this jet challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get that to you literally today to go recruit people for our event,
Mm-hmm.
because otherwise it's gonna fall off of your interest list.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Mine too.
Yeah, I just fall off the radar.
Yeah, but like if I start right now like committing to things and like, hey, I'm gonna go book the Jackson Hole thing. I'm gonna go. All of a sudden, you're like more committed, and you have to follow through.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's like implications if you don't.
Yeah.
So those are just some of the things that I've seen. Anything else kind of sticking out to you? Like in these conversations, you're sitting around talking to a bunch of fraternity brothers, or you're at a some get together, event, party, whatever, talking to the younger crowd. What else are people kind of going through right now?
That, and a lot of people, other than a lot of people also see that and they're like, oh, this is like a get rich quick. I knew a lot of people that tried to like start the airdrop, the drop shipping thing.
Oh yeah, like
a lot
Amazon,
of my
yeah.
buddies, actually, some of my buddies the other day started doing like the Family Guy, like clip farming on TikTok.
Oh,
Thought
and
that was pretty fun. They made like a Pepe account. They put a lot of money in Pepe meme coin, and so they're doing this account to like farm clips and have it Pepe, and they're like, dude, it's gonna drive up the price of the coin. We're gonna make all this money. And I'm like, yeah, like it's a bunch of those niche little things that like some of these kids get lucky and make a lot of money off of, that they're putting
Yeah.
a lot of attention towards.
Mm.
And it's essentially, I kind of just see it as gambling.
Yeah, it's like there's certain people that will hit the lottery,
Yeah, of course.
but does that mean it's a good strategy to go buy lottery tickets every single day?
Yeah, no.
Not for me. What I found is interesting is boring businesses ultimately make the most amount of money, like on average.
Yeah.
So like, how do you get into something that, like for us, it was insurance,
Mhm.
renewal income. These are the things that I would look for if I was restarting again, is like, what's something that I can sell that also pays a renewal, or some business that I can be in that when I add value, I have some kind of renewal benefit,
Mhm.
some residual income. Because then every moment and every piece of effort that you put into this project, actually it's not like a hamster wheel. It's adding.
Yeah.
So like this year, like my first year in the business, I made 14,000, hustling my ass off. Like, so 14,000, but like I knew if I just did the same thing next year, it'll double. And that's a little bit frustrating because I'm only making 28,000. But then the next year it'll double and double. And as soon as you get to 300,000, it doubles to 600,000. You're starting to feel pretty good about your
Yeah.
financial life, right?
100%.
But that takes a lot of faith. It takes a lot of like delayed gratification.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something we all need to like practice more of.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Everyone, like you said, that instant meme coin, all those coins and stuff.
Yeah. A lot of it's just try to get rich quick. That's a lot of, we lost a lot of delayed gratification when it comes to that, for sure, I feel like.
Well, we're on a mission to change that with our Ignite Gen Z event. We're excited that you're going to be there.
Yeah.
And bring some friends along with you. What's something that you learned from a parent or mentor or coach or someone along the way that, hey, like really helped you in your life? That, hey, if you were going to go back and tell somebody that's maybe younger than you, maybe they're 17 or 18 years old right now, what's something that you go back and say? Something that you learned from somebody else that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. I would say number one thing that's currently like affecting my life with everything I
Yeah.
do is, no matter what it is, you will get what you put into it.
Mm.
That's a lot of the things I've done with the fraternity, a lot of things I've done with school, a lot of things. Yeah, you can be in a fraternity, you can go to college, but like if you BS your way through everything and you're just in it, like you're not going to gain anything.
Yeah.
Like a lot of guys that sit in the back, don't do anything, just like show up to a party, like they're not going to really gain anything from being out of a fraternity.
Right.
But like if you go up, you take leadership roles, you go to every event, help out, learn how to set these things up, learn how to work with the school on a lot of things, learn how to budget money, become the president, learn how to manage people and conflicts. And like we're a 110 person chapter, a bunch of full of idiots, like just trying to have fun in college. So like managing that's like a lot of chip on my shoulder a lot of times, but I'm definitely coming out of this with a 10 times better outlook and experience with the fraternity than I would have if I didn't.
Yeah,
like-
because you actually you have a place to apply the things that you're learning in life,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
Like it's like a real world thing.
Yes.
You could read leadership in a vacuum and it wouldn't, make any sense. But you read about leadership And yeah, it might not be a billion-dollar corporation right now, but it's 100 people that you can directly affect with your leadership ability in a fraternity situation.
Yeah.
And all those little things, dealing with some weird pop-up scenario that happens probably daily, those things, you could look at it and be like, oh, why would I do this? What am I getting out of this? Except for it's sharpening you.
Yeah.
And then when you're in a finance role 2 years from now, 5 years from now, or you start your own company and big problems come up and big fires come up, you're
Yeah.
like, I've been here before. It's a different scale now.
Yeah, of course.
It's a different scale, but I know I've been here before.
Yeah.
I've shot those free throws over and over and over. And now that it's game time, I know what it feels like to hit a free throw.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
we definitely have a lot of hiccups here and there. Like, for example, like last time we were at formal last weekend, and our formal venue that we're supposed to actually have it at bailed on us the morning of.
Nice.
So I'm sitting there, and I was like, why are you on your phone? Like all this. I'm like getting calls from everyone left and right. Like, what's going on? Like, what are these rumors? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm dealing with everyone. And we ended up just going downtown in Bozeman, going into every restaurant and every bar asking to talk to the owner, and we finally found a place.
Let's
and
go.
It was 10 times cooler than our venue before. So like just dealing with those small things, and just dealing with my things, the noise from other people that don't know what's going on, and they're giving you trash and like all this, like saying whatever, and they're not in the scenario. They're one of the guys that stands in the back and just likes to talk when you mess up, dealing with those people and still working with them and not getting angry. Like that's the biggest thing I've definitely learned.
That's such a real world scenario.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I've been through that, like with one of our masterminds. I've been through that.
Yeah.
It's like I know exactly what you're talking about. People calling. Some people get it and are gracious. Other people never done anything.
Yeah.
If you've never done anything in your whole life other than just follow,
Yeah.
you don't know what it's like to be the person. And those are the complainers.
Yeah, 100%.
That's such a good experience that you're going through and learning that. And look, it turned out better than before.
Yeah.
It's like one of my core beliefs is life is happening for me, not to me.
Yeah, 100%.
And when you start to look at it that way, and I got to remind myself, hey, this is happening for me, not to me. That really helps you get through the frustrating times, because if life was just about ease, I'm doing it wrong. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Like even with kids, sometimes it's hard, man.
Yeah.
But if it was just about ease, that's one thing, but it's not. We weren't made for an easy life. We're made for a great life, and that's gonna take a lot of sharpening.
Yeah, 100%. An easy life isn't fun either.
Yeah.
I like to do things constantly, just just be involved in as many things as possible as I can, just because even necessarily I don't get anything out of it. I just I want to get those experiences. It's the reason I'm here right now. Like I saw when you came in and talked, I'm like, I'm just gonna see what's going on with this guy. I want a little extra thing to do, go out, see what's up, see if I can make a connection, just go from there.
You never know where that might lead for you.
Exactly. So
and other people along the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Curious, way out of left field question.
Yeah.
You might not have an answer because it's a very debated answer for thousands of years, but I like this question. What do you think is the purpose of your life here? Like, what do you think? Just like if you're going to take a stab at that one, like what do you put on earth to do?
I've always said the same answer when this question's asked. I just genuinely think it's to better the people around you and to make them happy. I think my purpose in life is to be ambitious and successful, not for myself, but my parents when they grow old, my children, to set them up to do the same thing for their family, my wife to have a good time. I've always kind of not necessarily viewed my life and the success that I want, hopefully in the future, for myself to have fun. I've always wanted that for the people around me, and for just the better the people around me in every aspect of life.
Where do you get your confidence and your belief in yourself? Obviously, there's days that it's sky high, and probably days like anybody that it wanes more than it should. But like, where do you derive the confidence to look at your future and say, I'm claiming that I'm going to be a success?
I'm definitely my parents. I was always like, I was their firstborn child, and they've always hyped me up insanely growing up. Like, I'm like sitting there, I'm like, I'm not really like that smart, guys. Like, calm down. Like, they'd always, hype me up, say I'm a genius, say I'm gonna like do like all this great things with my life. Like, always growing up, like throughout my entire life. So it's just kind of built into me. Just like, okay, like now I need to do this. I can do this because that's what I've been told my entire life. So it's like now I need to like actually execute on it. And I've always been very social and like personal talking to people. So it's like I have no problem like expressing that and going up to people and saying, this is what I want to do. How can you help me? Or like, what do you do? Like, how can I get along with that? How can we get things going? So
do you think that pressure that you're putting on yourself, or even some from parents, do you think that's a good pressure, a neutral, a negative? Obviously there's pressure there.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, there's definitely goods and bads with it. there's not, I feel like the most pressure, like I always talk to my mom about this, there's no real pressure coming from my parents. They'd always just like to hype me up. Like by far the most pressure is me, like
Yeah,
myself. Like
I feel
I
that.
was talking to my girl about this literally the other night. Like by far my biggest fear is failure. And not necessarily small failures along the way, but my biggest fear is not being where I've always wanted. I don't want to live an unfulfilling life.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that be, it's not necessarily being super rich or having these certain things, but I don't want to sit down when I'm 45 years old and being like, dang, like my life sucks. I screwed up when I was younger and I didn't pursue these opportunities that I should have.
Mm,
So I want to do anything in my power to not make that a reality.
mm. I appreciate you being open about that because, like, I think a lot of people that are confident in going in places like to act like we got it all figured out. There's no fear here. Like these influencers. Some of these are like basically shaming people if they ever had a doubt in their mind about
Yeah.
anything. You're like, dude, go home. Your conversation in your head at night, I promise you, is not 100% always like rock solid. I've never had a doubt in my life.
Yeah.
I think it's feeling the fear and just doing it anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
Hmm.
Because like it's not about like getting to a place where you don't have the fear or you don't have the pressure or whatever. Because like I resonate with that a lot.
Hmm.
You know, here we are. Most people laugh if I would tell them, "Hey, we sold a company for evaluated for roughly $50 million, and I'm 27 years old now. I'm 28, and I have 4 kids and a wife that loves me." Most people are like, "Why not just retire?" I'm so confused why you would ever, Josh, have anything in the world that you would want from here. But I'm kind of like, is that what life is? Is that it?
Yeah.
Like, cause you get somewhere, and you've seen this in certain areas in your life, right? You get somewhere, and you're really not. You don't feel that much different. Spoiler alert for
Yeah.
you and your success journey.
Hmm.
It's awesome because you have resources now to make a bigger difference.
Hmm.
But it doesn't magically change anything.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't. Uh, Driving a nicer car doesn't magically change anything.
Mhm.
It's cool for a week.
Yeah.
It's cool to know that you can do it.
Hmm.
So what I always say is like, it's who you become in the process. I'm trying to remind myself of that on this next process.
Yeah.
Is like, go for the moon, like go out and try to impact the world. And like at the end of the day, be careful what you tie your self-worth to.
Yeah. No, 100%. And like money's just a vessel to do the things that you do want to do in life. And I don't see myself ever stop working, but a lot of it, hopefully, if stuff pans out, I can just start doing passion projects at the end of the day. Like you said, you're doing now with this podcast and everything you're doing now. It's like now you have the funds to do it. So you're just going to do what you're passionate about and what makes you happy. So, I mean, fulfilling life is everywhere, especially work. It's like if you love your job, like you never go to work.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that's my goal, to end up in a place where I can do that. I've always liked hosting events, and like I've always said, like my main goal for life, like when people like have been asking me recently, is to build up a company, hopefully sell it by the time I'm 40, and then
Yeah.
open up like a super cool like bar or restaurant, and then just like have that as like my little like child, like hang around and run.
Like an event.
Yeah, like an event space, like a cool bar. Like I always pull this place down in Newport Beach that I love going to. It's called the Whaler, and it's like a super nice like lunch spot, like beautiful club that like a lot of these like nice people go to. And then at night it turns into more of like a bar where people go and hang out, like wear nice clothes, but like night out on the town with like your friends. So like I've always kind of wanted a place like that to like I've always like creating environments. So like I feel like if I had like the financial stability to do that,
Yeah.
not necessarily worry about if it was financially a success and it's making me money, rather than me just wanting to do it and creating an atmosphere for people. So like
Yes.
that's always that's my passion project of what I've always wanted to do.
That's cool. You say like you like events so much. Like events have changed my life.
Yeah.
That's why we host them. That's why we've been teaching, the Thrive seminar for insurance agents and Ignite Gen Z for the younger, for just people in their 20s, college, high school, etc. It's like I went to an event and it changed my life in a category, marketing. I go to another event, it changes my life, like my spiritual life.
Yeah.
And we talked a little bit about that off camera. But it's like events are a time where you take time and space away from your real life and you go and you think about life. So it's like working on your life rather than just in your life all day. And it's like, what do I want? Like, what do I want the future to look like 5 years from now? What are my goals? How do I see this all going down and making an actual plan? So anyway, Can't wait to have you at the event. Excited that this connection happened. Wanted to hop on a quick podcast and just get your thoughts because I really enjoy learning about you and where you're going, and have all these wild connections already at a young age. I'm just excited to see where it goes and call you a friend along the way. So I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, brother.